What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Voracious Podcast. It's Anwar checking back in with you guys. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Thank you for all the support. And today's topic, we're going to talk about why male friendships break apart after the age of 30. Why do men go their separate ways after the age of 30? One of the key things that happens, I think, that nobody talks about as men get older and men begin aging is that and it's not necessarily because of beef or anything or betrayal. It's because life quietly pulls us apart. It pulls men apart in different directions for numerous of reasons, and we're going to break down those reasons as to why life pulls us apart. It can be difficult, I think, when you've had friends for a long period of time and things change in your life or things change in your life and the phone calls stop coming in or you stop being as close as you are or you stop meeting after work like you used to. So let's get it right into it. Why things happen. Why does your life circle, why does it shrink with some of your friends? When you were growing up, a lot of times you were connected with your friends is because you went to the same school, you lived on the same block, you participated in the same activities, maybe you went to the same gym. And a lot of those things for men are ways that men remain connected. But as you age and you get a little older, things start to pull you apart. We start working longer hours, we start families, we're carrying financial stress in our lives, and we also have to choose stability over excitement, which men love excitement, right? We ride motorcycles, we bungee jump, we skydive. We do things that are kind of put us on the fringes of society because we enjoy the excitement of it. But a lot of those activities can pull us apart over a period of time. And that's not to say that we're not friends, but it's just saying that we're going in two different directions. Men don't really schedule friendships, right? We're kind of like loners to some extent. Most of us are. And if people come into our circle, great. If people don't, we're used to kind of doing things on our own as we've gotten older. We're used to kind of building things on our own. One of the major key things that happens a lot of times is there doesn't even have to be a falling out. There doesn't have to be any arguments. It can just be silence. You may have different goals that are not aligned with the friends that you had previously before. Your goals may have changed, and that's okay too. You may be working on some things that you want to build in your own life, and your friends may have another direction in which they're trying to build things. They might be wanting to build a home from the ground up. You may be wanting to travel the world more. You may have recently started a family. But one of the key areas is that we both have an understanding that we're soul searching, seeking to become better. Maybe we're working on our purpose. And as I said before, men do bond through activities, sports, work, drinking. That's a huge one for a lot of guys. A lot of guys like to get together after work, like to have a beer, like to sit down, like to talk sports and things of that nature. But what do you do when things like that change? After 30, the pickup games stop. You stop going to the gym so much, maybe. Maybe you put on a little extra weight. Maybe you put on a little extra weight and you stop being as active as you were before, or stop meeting the guys because your schedules change, or you have kids that live in another school district that causes you to drive out of the way in order to make sure that they get home safely. Your work paths diverge, right? Sometimes work can pull people apart if you all were connected over a similar job or everybody worked in the same office, and then someone goes into a different area of work. That can definitely pull you apart. And I think people who are stagnant in their growth don't necessarily understand that sometimes people have to make the best decision for themselves in order for them to grow. No shade or anything like that, but it's just one of these things that we have to do in order to grow. So you may take another job opportunity somewhere hoping for elevation in salary, supervisory promotions may be available in a different arena for you. So that can also pull people away. If you're someone who desires to be maybe a supervisor or someone who desires to climb the corporate ladder, and you have friends who are just okay with where they are in life, that will definitely pull you apart too. After 30, comparison creeps in. That's the other big one that men don't talk about. Men always want to be the apex predator. Men always want to be the top guy. Men always want to be the highest earner out of their group. And a lot of times, if you're working towards becoming a high earner or becoming a leader in your life and other people's lives, that can make others who aren't really working as hard intimidated by your growth. That can really shape how people view you, how people see you as an individual. Some people may say to you, "Oh, you've changed and you're not who you used to be," and wow, so things have really look different for you. And you, as the individual, has to say, "Hey, there's some things in this life that I want to accomplish. I'm really working on some things. I'm really trying some different stuff. I want to be different. I desire to be different. And this is the only way I know how to do it. And sometimes you got to withdraw and pull yourself out of that group space and begin working on yourself in an individual manner. I also want to point out too, during this journey, right, of transitioning to different places, different jobs, different mindsets, different professions, you also too will gain new people that will come into your life. Not as frequently as you gain them in high school or as a college, but you will gain new people because people will see you on your journey and they will also be on a like-minded journey. And that will give you an opportunity to build new friendships, which is a great thing. So don't get discouraged by traveling down the road the least amount of people like to travel. Just understand that by doing that, it may put you in a different trajectory. Another thing that pulls people apart is marriage or divorce. If you're getting married and you got some friends that don't desire to be married or start a family in that manner and they want to live the single life, that's definitely going to pull you away. The wife is not going to allow you just to go out and hang out in the streets like you did when you were a single man and you have obligations at home. Grass needs to be cut. Things on the house need to be fixed. Taxes need to be paid. And your friends can still go out and kind of hang out and live that single life, hit the bars up, go to sporting events, and really have that life of solitude. So that will definitely pull you away. Who's making the money? We talked about this just briefly, but if your goal is to make a lot of money or become a high earner and you have people that just aren't with it, then they're not going to push forward. Instead of saying in these situations that you're ashamed that the friendships are broken up, you can also understand that people grow apart, and that's okay. And it's okay to drop a text. It's okay to reach out, and things may feel different for you from time to time when you do reach back out to that old crowd, and that's okay too. Understand that people are going to move on and they're going to become new individuals, and you may not know them like you used to. If you knew somebody for 30 years, that's not to say you're going to know them for another 20 years. They'll change through their own growth cycles and their own life experiences, and you'll begin changing as well through your own life cycles. Most men don't know how to be vulnerable without a crisis. What does that mean? Most relationships aren't emotional for men. Most relationships, as we talked about earlier, are built on men doing activities together, doing some type of activity, but men aren't sitting around saying, oh, their heart was broken at 14, or I'm really struggling with this divorce. Unless a man is asked about where they are emotionally, most men won't really divulge too much about themselves. Most men don't want to seem vulnerable. Most men only open up when a relationship ends. If a relationship broke up and somebody checks in with you or you get an opportunity to go get a beer with them, then you may actually bring up why a relationship ended. That may be a little bit of emotional vulnerability, but what do most men say after you broke up? Oh, man, you'll be all right, man. Don't worry about her. You'll get somebody else, or don't even trip, man. There's some more fish in the sea. We'll say things like that to each other. When a parent dies, that can shape you as well. That can shape you to become better, or it can break you to some extent, right? People can deal with a lot of mental health issues when a parent passes away. And it can really change the trajectory of how you interact, some of the things you do. You may be more withdrawn because you're dealing with long-term grief. So that can change how your friendships look over 30. Or you could hit rock bottom. Some people fall into addiction deeply. After their 30s or any time in between, you may fall into an addiction, or you may lose your job, or you may become homeless, and that will change your trajectory too. Not a lot of men are out here helping other men, I would say that, at least not the circle that I'm aware of. They're not really, they may at times, but it's not like, what man is going to carry another man? That's what I'm getting at. What man is going to carry another man? You may be able to have a place to stay for a short period of time, but most men aren't going to let you just kind of kick it at their house because you are going through tough times. Or if you're in real trouble. If you're in real trouble of some kind with law enforcement or something of that extent, that may definitely break you guys apart because friends have determined, right, look, I don't want any issues in my life. If you're dealing with this heavy thing, handle that, then you can come back and check in with us. Or you may have a group of friends that actually stay around and actually want to help you and support you through that process. As men, we're taught to be strong, to handle it, don't burden others. We're taught to try and figure things out on our own, and that can alienate you from your friend group as well. If you're going through some things, I know oftentimes when I'm going through things, I isolate. I like to stay to myself. I like to try and problem solve by myself in order to figure out the problem that I'm dealing with. Is that always the best manner to kind of deal with situations? I can't really say that is. That's something I've kind of learned to do. I will reach out to family and friends periodically. I'll resurface and go hang out at somebody's house, but Oftentimes, I think most men want to try and solve the problem on their own, so we isolate quietly. That's just something that men do over time. And over time, men are convinced themselves that we don't need anyone. I'll do it by myself. I'm not asking anybody for anything. Men have a lot of pride and a lot of ego. So if you are going through things and you had a social support system, you may withdraw more because you don't want to seem vulnerable and ask for help. I would assume that's okay. If that's how you feel about it, you're not always obligated to ask someone for help or to reach outside of your comfort zone, but it is helpful. If you're struggling with mental health or if you're struggling with alcoholism or some other substance issues, reach out to some of your friends. Some of their journeys may be, some of them may have been on the same journey as you or may be able to at least offer some assistance while you're going through. And one of the most uncomfortable truths that nobody likes hearing is that some friendships end because you outgrow each other. That's just really what it is. You're no longer satisfied by doing the same thing, the same status quo. So you start operating at a different wavelength. As I like to say, you start vibrating a little higher. And that's okay too. That doesn't mean that our friendship is totally done. It just means it's changed on how we look at things. That's really what that means. We have different values. We have different priorities. We have different awareness that we're dealing with now. Some people may become more spiritual after their 30s. Some people may walk away from spirituality and God altogether, and that may link you up with a new group of people. Or you could experience, as we talked about, something major like the loss of a parent. That doesn't make you bad either. Growth also creates alignment within yourself and alignment with a new group of people. That's how growth can actually operate in your life, is that as you begin moving in this different direction, you begin aligning a little differently about some of the things that you want, some of the things you want to accomplish, and how you want those things to work out for you. Growth creates distance through alignment. As we know, we talked about that. The problem is men don't grieve friendship losses. Men are just like, we move on. We're used to doing things alone, so there's really no grief process. We're not sitting around crying our eyes out because our friends left us or we broke up and we feel like we can't go on. Most of the time, men will just kind of move on about their lives. That's just how we are. We're solitary creatures by nature. We enjoy family. We enjoy being around friends, but often when friendships fade, we just kind of move on beyond the process. We also, too, pretend that it doesn't hurt. Men are taught to be emotionally strong, don't be vulnerable, don't be weak. So we won't necessarily give ourselves time to grieve that actual relationship. We'll just literally move on from it. But losing brotherhood, it does hurt from time to time. Losing a good friend does hurt. It's not ideal all the time. And it's something that I think it can make you stronger if you allow it to, or it can tear you down. But it can definitely have the ability to make you stronger if you use it as a learning lesson, or if you use it as one of these things I tell myself too. Everything in life has an expiration date. Friendships, our lives, jobs, other relationships, vehicles, everything has an expiration date. And I've always felt as though is that if we're not as close as we used to be, then that relationship or time that we had has served its purpose in our life. That's just a spiritual way that you can look at things. Does that mean that it's always true or accurate? No, that doesn't mean that it's always true and accurate, but that's one way that you can look at it. How can men do things differently? Let's talk about that. How can men do things differently? Initiate without ego. Don't wait to be invited. Reach out. Sometimes we can reach out to old friend groups and see if we can rekindle or reconnect. And sometimes that door may reopen. Sometimes that door may not open how you want it. And sometimes you can just kind of pop in and out of people's lives, and that's okay. You can check in with people. That doesn't mean you have to be as close as you do. You don't have to share information or knowledge or secrets that you may have shared or vulnerabilities that you do with a past group of friends, but you can still have an opportunity to engage with them, still have a good dialogue, check on people's kids, see how their kids and their family is doing, and that can still be an okay thing. We can create intentional spaces. Hey, let's get up. Let's go to the gym, or let's go hang out. Let's grab a coffee or something. We can create an intentional space to check back in with each other. Now, does that mean that the relationship is going to grow exponentially and re-blossom and become this beautiful brotherhood again? Not necessarily. That doesn't necessarily mean that, but it's still an opportunity to re-engage and have a dialogue. You could also tell your friends, like, you could say something real to your boys. Like, if things have been off with you, you can say that. Like, I've been off for a while, or I didn't feel like this relationship has been genuine like it used to be. You can have that dialogue, but I've yet to find that men are really emotionally vulnerable as they should be. Men really don't be vulnerable about that, or Some of the guys I know will joke and laugh off if you are emotionally vulnerable. They like to call you weak or, oh man, you just complaining, or ain't no big deal, just chill out. But you need to be able to have those friends who accept and understand your emotional vulnerability. And as we talked about before, seasons. Some friends aren't gone forever, just unavailable right now based on their own life circumstances and your own life circumstances. Sometimes friends just have to go their own path. And I think when we as men begin understanding that it is okay for men to go their own path and to explore their own journey without bringing a whole crowd with them or people that you've known since you were kids. Because everybody, I'm a firm believer that everybody can't go where you're going. And I would ask myself, well, where am I going? Still trying to figure that out. But that doesn't mean everybody can come with you on that journey. And sometimes you need to be isolated so that way you can truly focus on yourself and who you need to become. No hard feelings. You're just working on yourself at this time. And sometimes the other piece is new brotherhoods are built. We talked about that. New friends will come along on your journey as you grow and become this new person. I'm hoping that this podcast today with you all, my family, the conscious thinkers here at the Voracious Podcast, hopefully this resonated with people. It makes sense. Hopefully you gain something out of it. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button down below. Feel free to drop a comment below. Are you experiencing things in your life that you wish weren't the way they were, or you wish you had friends from the past that are no longer in your life, or do you wish that you could reach out to someone to hopefully rekindle or reestablish a past relationships? Then this is the podcast for you. This is the one that you need to lock into. Share with your male friends, because I know a lot of male friends are changing as we age after 30. I really want to thank you guys staying with the Voracious Podcast. Again, it's Anwar here at the Voracious Podcast. We are here once a week on Thursdays. We're dropping new episodes 8 p.m. on Thursdays, so you can come check us out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.